Well, hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we have a review for you of the ZT0560. Alright guys, so the ZT0560. This is another hinderer design by ZT based on the famous XM18. This design came out in 2011 and is no longer they don't make it anymore. It's discontinued, right? So you're gonna have to find this on the secondary market. We'll kind of get to those prices later on. And you know, it's a very, very cool knife. It's awesome. So we'll get to all that later because some of you guys might be like, I want that knife. Well, you can't just buy it from a store. You have to go to the secondary market. So this is a G10 scale right here with a titanium liner and a titanium frame on the other side with the frame lock going right here. We have a lock bar stabilizer and a lot of hardware, a deep carry pocket clip that is ambidextrous, and four-way tip up, tip down carry. So that's very cool. You have your choice of where you want to put this pocket clip. As you can see, we got some jimping on the spine right here. These edges are knocked down. They're not quite chamfered, but they're rounded off really nicely. We have a lanyard punch out right there, which is cool because they didn't emphasize it really over anything. It's just right there. It's all right. One complaint outright is you have this, if you're carrying the pocket clip in this position, it is resting on the frame lock. Just be mindful of that. I haven't honestly noticed too many issues with it. This thing has awesome action. As you can see here, these barrel spacers, let's see, are very reminiscent of the Hinderer model. This is the Hinderer XM18. So as you can see here, the barrel spacers are virtually the freaking same. So there's a lot of Hinderer design situations going on here that make you feel like you're getting your actual Hinderer in hand, regardless of whether or not you're paying the $450, right? This titanium frame lock on this side has the same type of texturing as this G10. And usually I get to this in the likes and dislikes. I actually wasn't sure this was titanium because it felt kind of light and weird. And we'll go into right here. Let's get you guys a light. I think it's because these are milled liners and a milled frame. So it's very lightweight. There we go. Milled liner. It's very lightweight for the size. It's not a lightweight knife, but for the size. And so it did not feel like something that was super solid. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is a frame lock. How the fuck does this feel like G10? It feels slightly off to me. I mean, that was my initial impressions, but then you carry it and then you start to feel the cold coming off of here. You can tell it's metal, and it obviously changes your mind once you carry it. But first impressions, I was like, ooh. So this blade is an LMAX style blade with a drop point, and it's got the slicer grind going on from Hinderer. So that's kind of like Hinderer's ZT thing whenever it goes after the XM18 models. See, that's the difference between the slicer grind and not. This is a sheep's foot style blade that doesn't have the smile going up. This is what they call the smile, right? The way the grind goes. It has this nice rounded edge to it. Funny enough, on Blade HQ, they say this is a hollow grind. I am going to very sternly disagree because if I can find something flat for you guys to compare it against, I mean, here's a pen. That's there. I was like, what the fuck? As you guys can see, you guys cannot see through there. That is a flat grind, not a hollow grind. The reason you could see through there originally is because I had the freaking pocket clip on the pen poking up there. A swedge going on down the spine. Typical ZT Hinderer-esque giant jimping going on here. External stops with the batwing. Dave, batwing. And then we have this stop pin right here. Locked in pivot, so it's a captive pivot. You have this cool little design going on there. It looks like a hex, but it's rounded, but it fits in perfectly. And then this red lock bar stabilizer. Let's get you guys some specs on this guy. Obviously, it's riding on bearings because you guys see that incredible action. By the way, it does have external stops that really are positioned to where you can use them as thumb studs and a reverse flick. No freaking problem whatsoever. So the fidget factor on this guy is pretty damn good. All right, let's get your overall weight on this massive monster here. despite being massive, it's not going to be, oh shit, it's almost 6 ounces. Okay, so it doesn't feel like almost 6 ounces. This is obviously the first time that I'm weighing it or looking at the specs for the weight. It definitely doesn't feel like a 6-ounce knife. I can tell you that just from the feeling in it. I mean, like I said, I thought the one side was G10, even though it was a frame lock. I was like, that makes no sense. That's just the way it feels in hand, right? The overall length is coming in just shy of 9 inches. The blade length is coming in just shy of 4 inches, and the overall cutting edge is coming in at 3 3/4. Your blade stock thickness of this guy is coming in at a very whopping 1.55 or 155 thousandths, so that's pretty damn good. And then the behind the edge, not your most narrow, coming in at almost 30 thousandths. Let's check about that tip. Yeah, your behind the edge on this guy's not going to be your best slicer. I mean, this thing's just beastly, so it's not really meant to be your best slicer. If it was a hollow grind, like Blade HQ said, maybe it would have been a better slicer. I don't know. The overall thickness is coming in at a 0.55 or 550 thousandths, and the overall height in your pocket is coming in at a whopping 1.66. To put that into perspective, your PM3 is coming in at a 1.66, your PM2 is coming in at a 1.6, and your Manix 2 is coming in at a 1.74. So this is just as tall in your pocket as a PM. That's not considering the flipper tab. That's really considering the fattest part of the body right here. So this is definitely going to be a pocket hog. This is one of those knives that you're going to carry because you really, really want this massive beast in your pocket. And this thing is a massive beast. You definitely feel like you can get anything done with this guy. Here is your Rat Model 1 and your Rat Model 2. Obviously dwarfing both knives completely. And I'm sorry if it disappears in the black background. Didn't really think that one through. I still like the black background. I can see it all right, but it may cause focusing issues. Although I feel like the camera's actually focusing better than that gray background. It's kind of weird. Here is the Civivi Brazen in drop point and your Civivi Elementum. Obviously, once again, dwarfing both of these knives. Next up, we have your Feldspar Sandwich. And for those of you newer to the channel, the reason I do so many comparisons, and I try to keep them as user-friendly as possible, and by that I mean knives that everybody would see, whether or not the version that I have is something that you've seen before. It is, I try to keep the PM2s, the Feldspars, the Civivi stuff, the Rats. I try to give you guys good comparisons to something that you might have felt in the past. As you can see, your Feldspars coming in at much, much shorter. If you tip up the blades right here, tip them right next to each other, yeah, this thing's just dwarfing even your large size Feldspar. This is a very, very large knife. And last but not least, we have your Spyderco Little Native and your Spyderco PM2 Ultra with the button lock on it. That's the only thing that really makes it an Ultra. It's got a button lock, my card on titanium hardware. Still an S30V blade though. As you can see, even your PM2 is pretty damn dwarfed by this blade in particular. So the ZT0560 is a massive, massive beast, and it's no slouch. So let's go over a quick recap. This is an LMAX style blade, so that's really cool. It's going to last for quite some time, really, really good corrosion resistance, and it used to be one of the better blade steels on the market, and it still is. It's still one of those really, really high-end blade steels. It's just you don't hear about it as much as others, like the M390s, the K390s, and such. So we have the slicer grind going on here with this drop point style blade, almost like a spear style blade, right? Because it doesn't really come to a drop point, it comes to almost a spear. And it has a full flat, not a full flat grind, about a flat grind going up about half the size of the blade. And this is the blade definitely has a slight tumbled finish, maybe a bead blast to it too. I didn't look that up beforehand. But it definitely has some sort of finish going on there, not just an outright, satin finish. So we have a G10 going on here with a titanium liner right here and a stainless titanium frame lock going on right here. We have a lock bar stabilizer, a deep carry pocket clip that is 4-way, a captive pivot, some very oversized hardware with the lanyard hole right here, jimping going on along the spine that is very, very thick, a swedge that follows the spine right here, and then some jimping going on the back side of the scales themselves, and some jimping going on right there. Ergonomically, this thing's a monster. You can really kind of hold on to it where you want to, and that's what makes it so nice. It's so, so large. It just feels really good in hand. The action, because it's so large, is great. And because it's large, they put the freaking external stops in the perfect position to use as thumb studs too. So you can really just knock it out of the park. One thing I didn't mention on the 0393 review, it does have this jimping on the liner, which, watch this. I'm sorry, on the flipper tab. That's on the bottom. So you have this smooth landing zone right here. And then you have this jimping up top, which, I mean, I guess if you're going to hold it right there, I don't know. I don't know why they put jimping right there. If you guys know why they put jimping right there and you watch, let me know. I don't get the function there. I really don't get any type of functionality going on there. But as I said, I love the action. I love the ergonomics. I love how large and in charge this thing is. It's just a beast. Let's get you guys one last set of comparisons here. We have the 0562. As you can see, it's slightly larger than the 0562. It's a little bit more rounded as well, so it fills out your hand pretty damn good. It does have contoured scales, I didn't mention that. And this is your Hinderer XM18 skinny sheep's foot, so it's a little bit thinner, but these are all within the same family. They are all designed after one another. Actually, these two are kind of designed after the original model, the XM18 regular size right here. Overall, this knife is coming in at $260. Unfortunately, it is discontinued. So on the secondary market, this is something I hinted at in the beginning. What should you pay for this knife? $260, in my opinion, is a very fair assessment of what this knife was worth when it first came out. If you find anybody charging over $260, in my opinion, run for the hills and say, no, thank you. I don't want that, right? I don't think anybody on the secondary market should charge more than the knife itself actually costs. Short of limited editions and sprint runs, I get that. They had to do the work. They landed it before you. That's kind of the markup within reason. Within reason being the key term, you know, maybe a 10% markup or something. But on something like this that's discontinued, I just don't see a reason to pay over $260. To be realistic, if it's used and it's not brand new, which a good chance of it is not going to be brand new, I would not pay anywhere over $220 to $200 for something like this outright. Now that's just me. Some of you guys may disagree, and those of you that are pursuing a knife like this or pursuing this particular knife, you may be more willing to pay a higher value because you value it more. That is just what I see objectively looking at the values. No more than about $220 on the secondary. I have no problem with the $260 price point that came into the stores, but unfortunately that's not really a thing anymore because it's not available. So this is a review of the 0560 ZT. My name is Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great freaking day. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means a lot. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. If you didn't like it, give me some feedback in the comments below and hit the thumbs down button. In case you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon, which will be listed right here. In that Patreon, we're giving bi-monthly giveaways to just the Patreons based on the number of Patreons that we have in the Patreon. We will also be giving discounts on all the knives that I sell based on the number of patrons. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great day.